Do you feel stuck in a toxic or narcissistic relationship, but you're like, I still want to have some peace and happiness in my life, even though I'm stuck here? Well, you are in the right place, because in today's episode, I'm going to teach you 4 steps that you can take to get you that peace and happiness. Now, I do warn you, it may not be what you're looking to hear, but I do guarantee you that it's going to give you, keyword, genuine peace and happiness while you are still in this toxic and narcissistic relationship. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Naila Abdullah. If you are new here, I'm a mental health therapist turned toxic relationship coach. And after overcoming my own personal experiences with toxic relationships, I work with women helping you to heal, to rebuild your life after the impact of a toxic and narcissistic relationship, and most importantly, equipping you with the tools to make sure you never end up back in another toxic or narcissistic relationship again. So if that sounds like something that you need, something that you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's get into this topic. Step number 1 to being happy in a toxic and narcissistic relationship is making sure that it is temporary. You want to be in this relationship like you are at a job that you hate, that you don't want to be there anymore. But once you type up that resignation letter, clocking into that job is so much easier because you know it is coming to an end. You need to create a plan. Now, that is always easier said than done. Being in a toxic and narcissistic relationship, it is more of a psychological hold than a physical hold. That's why I always say that when you come out of a toxic or narcissistic relationship, that is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of psychological reprogramming that you have to do, deprogramming that you have to do to make sure that you are not only physically removed from the relationship, but also emotionally and psychologically removed from the relationship. So even coming out of the relationship can be challenging, but I want you to know that it is possible. You don't have to do it alone. There are supports like here. There are supports out there, and there may be supports in your personal life that you can access, but know that you can do it, you need to do it. The more time you spend there, the more recovering that you're going to have to do. Okay, so create a plan, an exit plan. The plan does not have to be perfect. There's a few things you need to consider in your plan. Safety, okay? Because sometimes people underestimate the rage that people who are toxic or narcissistic will go into once they realize they're losing control about you. So you want to create a safety plan. You want to make sure you don't share your plan with them. You want to make sure you don't share your plan with people that might relay that plan to the toxic or narcissistic partner, right? So you want to cover all areas of safety. You want to make sure you have your basic needs met, right? Food in the stomach, clothes on the back, being able to go to work if you work, right? That you have your basic financials, but don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for you to have all the luxuries and comforts that you have now, right? Sometimes getting peace is more important than being comfortable. Let me repeat that one because that was good. Sometimes, what did I say? Finding peace is more important than being comfortable. You can always get that comfort back. You can always buy that furniture back. You can always, do whatever it is you need to do back. But you need to get yourself away from the poison, from the toxicity as soon as possible. The second step to finding happiness while you were still in a toxic or narcissistic relationship is connecting with healthy people. Healthy friends, healthy family. Well, Naila, what do you mean by healthy? Just because you are close to people don't mean that they are contributing to your life, and more specifically, your relationship patterns in a positive way. You may have friends that are also in toxic or narcissistic relationships. You may have family members who still encouraging you to stay in the relationship that you're in. And maybe they're doing it because they're ignorant of exactly what's going on. Maybe they don't know the details, right? Maybe they too have their own toxic relationship experiences and they maybe are still in it or they're out of it. They haven't healed from it, so they can't really tell you how to heal and how to save and rescue yourself. Whatever it is not really about blaming them, but it's more so about being honest with yourself about, is this person healthy for me? And if they are healthy for you or are not healthy for you, whatever it is, you have to determine how much time am I going to spend with this person, right? The goal is to surround yourself with healthy family and friends that are not only going to, you can have fun with, but are going to help you to evolve, right? That are going to help you to start making the shifts in your life where you are starting to do things that are healthy for you. And that includes healthy relationships. Let's be honest, some people that you love, some people that are in your life right now are just maybe not healthy for you, right? They're not going to encourage you to step away from things that are toxic. Maybe it benefits them that you're in this situation because now they have a complaining buddy. They have someone to complain with and to talk about, how bad men are, right? Which is not the case. It's just about picking the right and the wrong people in our lives. So the step 2 is picking healthy people to be around. And for those people that are not so healthy for you, that are not contributing to your growth, to your personal development, start to find ways. You may not have to cut them off, but start to find ways to maybe decrease the amount of time that you spend with them and decrease the amount of impact and influence that they have on you and on your decisions. The third step to being happy in a toxic or narcissistic relationship is to resign trying to fix that toxic or narcissistic partner. You have been with them long enough, you've been through enough to know that there's no fixing them, okay? That's not your job, that's not your assignment. You've seen that they're choosing to be who they are for whatever reason. You don't even need to know the reason, right? The focus needs to be on you. The energy that you are putting into showing them how they could be a better person, how they should behave, how they should act, how they should treat you, how they should treat others. Take that energy back. We only get a certain amount of energy and time in a day, right? 24 hours in a day, and we get a certain amount of energy a day, okay? Hold on, reserve that energy, reserve that time, and put it into you. Put it into your growth, into your personal development. You can start doing some of the healing work while you are still in a toxic or narcissistic relationship. It's not recommended, and it is a bit contradicting because as you are working on yourself, they see that and they will try to find other ways to break you and to confuse you. So that is why the first step I gave is to create a plan to go, right? To make sure that this situation is temporary, right? That you are on your way out. But in the meantime, you can start to put the energy into you, to work on yourself. Like I said, to surround yourself in healthy environments around healthy people, to start to work on your development and not changing all of who you are, but changing the parts of you that got you into this situation and that kept you there, because those parts of you need to change. That is the work that needs to be done, right? So resign from trying to fix them, okay? Leave them to God. I'm not going to say give up on them, but leave them to God. The most you need to do for them is pray and leave the rest to God. And the fourth step to being happy in a toxic or narcissistic relationship kind of piggybacks on the previous one as far as putting the energy into you. That fourth step is to nurture yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Physically can be in the forms of the type of foods that you eat, whether you're exercising. And I know that sounds cliche, and I'm going to be very, don't take this slimness, don't think I made myself slim. Don't think I'm doing a whole lot, right? People laugh. They're like, Naila, you're always in workout clothes. Yeah, because I'm a mom of 2 little kids, and it's just easier for me to throw those clothes on. I'm not in the gym all the time. I'm not working out all the time. But I do know, and I do see the difference when I do exercise, that I do feel better, right? So taking care of our body makes a difference in how we feel, how we think. It's all connected, right? So nurturing yourself physically, exercising, eating the right foods, staying away from, unhealthy foods. And it doesn't mean you need to cut out everything, but you need to watch, how certain foods affect you. I love dairy, I love milk, I love cheese, I love whipped cream. But I know if I have too much of it, it's going to cause health issues for me, right? So just paying attention to the things that make you feel good, right? Not in the moment, because ice cream feels good in the moment, but later that night it doesn't feel good, right? So pay attention to the foods that makes you feel good in the long term. The exercise, nurturing yourself emotionally, engage in personal development, read books that's going to open your mind to new ways of thinking, right? To again understand, why am I here? How do I get out of this? One of the questions that I had for myself was, I'm a smart woman, I'm making good decisions in other areas of my life, in my career, and my groups of my circle of people, and just different things overall. Like, how did I mess up so bad in the relationship section, right? That was some of the deep inner work that I had to do. So put your energy into nurturing that, and not just looking at the wrong things about you, but just being kind to yourself too, to say, okay, I didn't know better, but how do I know better now, right? Trying to stay away from gossip. Again, I spoke about the circles of people, your friends, your family, right? So making sure that you're not engaging in negative things that draw negative energy, like gossiping and things like that. You want to make sure that you're nurturing yourself emotionally, right? And spiritually, depending on what spiritual practice you have. For me, I am a Christian. I'm a believer of Christ and God, and I make sure that I see the difference when I journal. I journal my prayers, right? So I know journaling scares some people, but as I always say, journaling is not school. It's not any right or wrong. But I like to journal my prayers. So I start off every sentence, thank you, God, for this. Thank you, God, for that. And I'm thanking him for things that I have in the moment, the very basics, right? And I thank him also for the things that I want to see come to fruition, right? So that I see a big difference when I pray verbally versus in a journal, right? Getting a Bible. I just purchased a new Bible that is modern English. One of the things I struggled with for many years, especially in my 20s, was trying to understand the Bible, the King James Version, right? So now that I have the Bible app. If you have the Bible app, you can find that. It's called YouVersion Bible app, I believe. It's a free app. It's the Bible on an app, and it has Bible plans, Bible lesson plans, study plans. It has different versions of the Bible there. So you can have the King James Version with the old English and all of that, or you can have the more contemporary English. But you just need to find ways that's going to fuel you. And you have to try different things too and see how it feels. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm too busy to journal. But guess what? When I do it, I see such a difference. I feel such a difference. I feel lighter. I feel more confident because my faith is stronger. I was listening to, I think it was a podcast the other day, and they were talking about the way that the parts of the brain that functions with gratitude versus fear. Now, don't quote me on this, but they said something along the lines of the same part of your brain that has gratitude has fear, and they can't exist simultaneously, right? So that is where I believe, journaling my prayers of thanking God allows me to focus more on the things that I already have. Like I said, that first page that I start journaling is thank you, God, for this, thank you, God, for that, and the very basic things that we take for granted. So while it is best to nurture yourself and start healing outside of the toxic or narcissistic relationship, while you are there, you can still work on nurturing your mind, body, and spirit. If this episode was helpful for you, I'm sure you will definitely benefit from my guide. It's in the description box below. It's the mistakes that I made in toxic relationships, and I teach you how you can avoid them. So this is for you whether you are still in the toxic and narcissistic relationship or you are now out of it. Go ahead and click the link in the description box below. It is a free guide. And go ahead and share this episode also with someone that you know needs to hear this. Unfortunately, there are women out there that are going through what you're going through, what I went through, and they need to hear some of this. So go ahead and share this with them, and I will see you in the next episode.